have 2 points in my debate, and this debate is mainly about these 2 points of where we're going to have less crime, essentially, and why is it justified to do so, and where we get more justice. Okay, but before I do so, I'll get to one point of rebuttal to case of like, look, the middle class is going to collapse. Okay, note that the analysis they gave us of the middle class is like the extreme high middle class, like even like the top 9–10% of like people that they get to pay 50% tax. It's like huge amount. Okay, so we say, yeah, the fines are going to go maybe up from 500 shekels to 2,000 shekels, and if it hurts more to the middle class, okay, fine, they won't do that offense again. It creates even more incentive for them to not park their car legally, to not overspeed, okay? And look, Swiss already have that system in finding speeding tickets, okay? You can get a speeding ticket in Switzerland where it's completely proportional to the income that you make. Some people even get fined for $50,000 in one fine, okay? We don't see a collapse of the middle class in Switzerland. We don't see people who cannot pay their bills because they got one fine, okay? It's just not how it works. If you get one fine, yeah, it's an unusual expense. You get through it for the next months, unless you get fined every month and then, sorry, you deserve it, okay? Fine. When this case of OO is dealt with, okay, I'm going to go to my first point about why it will cause less crime. Okay, look, they say to us that like cops will give more tickets. Okay, for I don't really understand the rationale, but cops already give them more tickets. Okay, they already have an incentive to give more tickets. That's the way they are promoted by. Okay, I don't get if you want to go to appeal, I have to clarify that. Okay, I'll thank you. Okay. Look, the poor already have every incentive in the world to avoid taxes. To avoid fine. It doesn't matter how small the fine is if they are poor, because every cent matters to that person, okay? They have the incentive. But rich don't have that incentive, okay? If I have $1 million in the back and I get fined 400 shekels for parking illegally, I can just park on the sidewalk always because I can play the fine and think that it's a completely legit place to park. I pay the fine, okay, fine. I did my side in the deal for society. I paid for what I did, okay? It's completely legit. Once you get the fine proportionate to the amount of salary they make, it's not relevant anymore. It hurt them enough to them to think, okay, it doesn't worth it, okay? It's not worth to me to park my car legally, it's not worth for me to speed over the limit, and therefore they won't do it. Second answer, yes.
If poor people already have the most incentive, then why are levels of petty crime the highest by far among poor people?
Why do poor people have more incentive to do crime? Because they are poor people, because they don't have other ways, but it's not the same crime that we are talking about, okay? We're talking about speeding tickets, we are talking about parking illegally, we're talking about things that they get fined for, not petty, like, you're talking about why do poor people steal more? Why do poor people are more robbers than rich people? Well, the answer is in your question, they're poor, they have to, okay? They don't have any choice, okay? It's not the same crime that we're talking about here, okay? And that crime is different in a way that is only a matter of fines, okay? It's not that serious, okay? And to move into my second point, okay? And note that this point is far more important than the first one, because it talks about why do we have fines in the first place and why it is justified and how do we achieve more justice on that, okay? We put fines in the first place in order to make sure our community behaves in a certain way, okay? We do that in order to ensure that the public safety is kept, in order to ensure that like transportation is safe and all of that, okay? So we say that on a basic level, when we decide something in the law, we decided no one is above the law, okay? And when no one is above the law is a principle and a value in itself when we decided for a law. We wouldn't think to send poor people to prison and say to rich people, okay, you can pay me 100,000 shekels for every month you want to shorten off your sentence. That's just not logical, it's not comprehensible, because it's not fair, it's not equal to anyone to someone to be above the law if they are rich, okay? Therefore, it is not legitimate if we show you that point, okay? So, like I showed you, how the incentive of people, of the mindset of people who have a lot of money and don't feel less fines, they're basically saying that they are above the law. But once you find them, that could be up to tens of thousands of dollars, as I showed you in the example, okay, it hurts them in a way. It hurts them in the pocket. Yeah, they have millions, but it still hurts if you have to pay like $50,000 over a fine ticket, a speeding ticket, and you wouldn't do it again. So basically, we achieved even further the equality towards the law. We achieved something further. We achieved something that is greater than just less crime and just the community behaving in a way that is different. Note that OG talked about like how we achieved equal determinant. We talked about how this determinant actually translates in being
We believe that people know that they are doing a bad thing, but they still decide to do it, and they don't deal with it at all.
I fail to understand how your points help you, okay? Because like, if rich people know that they're doing bad things, but we wouldn't stop doing it, that's bad, right? And we solve that problem, okay? So your POI actually helps my side, because we say that, okay, we don't know they're doing bad things, now we have incentive not to do it again, okay? And also, we say that, look, OG talked about how all it's determined and why rich people will be less likely to make that crime. We talked about, firstly, how the middle class will not be falling, and secondly, how we achieve further equal and justice towards the law, being that no one above the law. Therefore, we call you to propose.